Hi there and welcome to this video about using the debugger in youSRC. Now if we have a program and we want to actually see how it's working, then one of the things we can do when we run it is to have a look at the debugger, and the debugger effectively allows us to run our program line by line. Now let's actually have a look at how that works. If I've got this program here, very simple program with a for loop, and it's going to effectively deal a card or write to the screen, deal a card to Joe, deal a card to Beth, and it's going to do that 5 times. We can see that in the settings for our for loop. And it's then also going to do a write line of the card counter, the variable that's controlling the counter, if you like, for our loop. So it's going to do that 5 times. So let's actually have a look at this in action. Now if I just run my code here and then play it, okay, we can see it's done that. So it's deal a card to Joe, deal a card to Beth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's all happened very quickly. We can't necessarily see what's going on at any one point. Now one of the things we can do is we could say, go down here and say run app with debugger. Now it's called the debugger basically because we would normally do this in order to debug our application, i.e. we're trying to find the root cause of a particular bug in our application. Now in this case we know the program actually runs fine, but one of the things we would normally use this for is where the program isn't perhaps working fine and we're not sure why, and we can start to go through it. So in this case I can start here and say run highlighted line, and it runs that line. Now in this case it goes through a variable and declares a variable, and we're into the next line here. I can run that, and at that point we are going inside of the loop, and I can run that, which is now printed over here, deal a card to Joe. I can come back over here, so I'll just try and get a little bit between the two. You can see it's now printed deal a card to Beth, and if I do the next line, then we've got it's printed out the counter variable or card counter. Now if I run that again, we can see it's now come back up to the top of the loop, okay, and card counter is now going to be equal to 2, and it's running through there, and we can see the actual loop in action now. Yep, so we're up to 4 there. Okay, so if we run it again, then we can see it does number 5, comes back up to the top there, at which point card counter is now 6, so it finishes, and we can see that's done. So I'm able to run through my program line by line, and that's basically the idea of the debugger. Now there are other things going on over here with regards to refreshing the app window, run highlighted, well sorry, the free run, which we'll come more to when we talk about breakpoints. But really the first thing when we start talking about using the debugger is just the idea of being able to run it line by line, and that's the key thing to take away from this tutorial.